Hi, my name's David, and I'm glad to be here talking with you. What I do is study human values, and we do this globally around the world with a giant database we've built of what matters most to people in 180 different countries, a million surveys, a billion data points. The work we do around human values is about helping groups like Destinations International and all the DMOs that are part of Destination International understand the groups of people that you need to engage and influence and inspire with the work you do. And there's really two big constituencies, aren't there? There's the folks you're trying to attract to your destination, and there's the folks who are living in your destination. And sometimes it feels like they're not on the same page. Well, now they can be, because the data that we've collected shows what values they have in common. Once you know that, which is some of the stuff that's in this toolkit that we're about to go through together, well, then you know how to frame things up and put together programs and ideas and strategies that are going to make sense for when you're trying to attract people to come visit, and also when you're trying to get the locals to figure out how they can think about tourism as infrastructure instead of thinking about it as something that gets in their way, or some of the other popular misconceptions that people could have about the work you're trying to do to make tourism a healthy and active part of your community. So I know we're all feeling the pressure of overwhelming responsibilities these days. So I've tried to make this as simple for you as I can. When I was preparing for the keynote for Destinations International, we did a massive study and we looked at all the folks who live in the United States of America, a couple 100,000 surveys we've got on that front. And then we also profiled people who want to visit the USA, and we compared the two, and we took pages and pages and pages of spreadsheets and dashboards, all of which I'm happy to share with you if you want to get in touch. And we boiled it down to three simple things you can do. Now, this is a good start, but if you want to go deeper, I really do encourage you to think about reaching out. But in the toolkit, you're going to find you think about them as three big buttons you can push that will move the needle in the right direction. One of them is for if you're just speaking to the locals. How do you get them to feel like the things you want them to believe in are obvious and just feel like common sense? And of course, they're on board with that. And a program idea for me on how you might be able to make that make sense for them. And then there's another, what we call power value, the second big button you can push, which shows you how to bring people to your destination. What's the one big value you can use there to align your programs, your services, the way you talk about why people should come and visit. I really love that one. Please go and check it out. It's all about personal growth and helping people understand that coming to visit you is going to leave them smarter and wiser than before. And then the third one is a value that works for both people who are in your communities and the folks who are coming to visit your communities, and how you can find some alignment between those two groups based on who they are on the inside and what matters most to them, and how you can get them engaged and motivated and inspired. So I boiled it down to three really simple things for you, and that's what the toolkit contains, and I hope you find it really useful. Don't forget, reach out if you want to know more or you have any questions. I know one of the biggest tensions you face right now is this tension between visitors and the local communities that they're coming to visit, that you're responsible for marketing as a destination. In the toolkit, you'll see me reference my friend Zita Cobb and the work she does through the Shorefast Foundation. And I think it's one of the best examples of this power value that works for both the general population of the United States and the people who want to come and visit. And the value is financial security, about trustworthiness and stability around financial security. So here's the thing. People who are coming to visit are going to love the idea that they're contributing to the financial security and trustworthiness and stability of the places they're visiting. Nobody's going to not like that. And the locals are going to love this notion as well. And what Zita is doing through her real life experiment around the Fogo Island Inn is charging a premium to come and stay in a place where the experience is all about the place. The locals are benefiting in an enormous way, and so are the folks who get to come and stay there and feel like they're contributing to making the financial security of that place come true. So there's a thing that's happening in the real world, an example, a case study you can use, and it's outlined a little bit in the toolkit. So and you can just go Google and find out some more about what she's up to, and say hi if you end up contacting her, because she loves helping others understand how to use this shared value in building places and spaces. She refers to it as place-based economies that are all about the place. And it's brilliant, and it ties exactly into the data, and what we're finding in the data will be powerful and useful for you as well. So hopefully that one helps you. I wish I had an answer for you about how you could use specific human values to communicate with elected officials and bureaucrats and the folks who are responsible for the policies that impact the work you do. But the fact is, we don't have that data set. So I've got two answers for you. The first one is to use the data for the American general population, which is part of the research we've done for Destinations International. You can access that through them, or reach out and find me on LinkedIn, and I'll send you the charts for that. But you know what? That's a huge overarching data set about all the people in the United States. And what we're trying to understand is a very specific, tiny little group of people called elected officials and policy decision makers. And so they're going to be kind of different. It's like talking about the data set for pets. But what we're really interested in is a particular hybrid chihuahua. I don't know where that analogy came from, but welcome to my brain. So the better thing to do is to use in the toolkit a tool there called the 3 Telltale Questions. There's a video you can watch where I teach you how to use these. There are 3 questions we've tested around the world, and if you can kind of slide them into conversations with these folks, you don't have to use my exact words, use your own words, but try and get them to talk about these 3 topics, these 3 telltale topics. They will inevitably talk to you about what matters most to them. And once they've revealed that, which is shared their values, then you know how to frame things up in a way that mirrors that, so that the thing you want them to think about will just feel obvious. And they'll just be like, well, yeah, that makes sense. It's all about the thing I already care about. So why are we even having this conversation? And I think that's the goal. So I hope that helps. If you're going to just take one thing away from this research we've done for Destinations International and the whole notion of using values and what we call value graphics instead of demographics, it's this. Demographics are stereotypes, nothing more. All Gen Z are not the same. Women are not all the same as each other, and Gen Z women are not all the same as each other. In fact, our data of 1 billion data points proves that they're only about 10% similar. Any people inside a demographic cohort, they're only about 10% similar to each other. So if you're using demographics to understand people, it's 90% inaccurate, whatever the suppositions are that you're using based on those demographic profiles. So instead, do whatever you can to find out who they are on the inside, what their shared values are. Because in any group of people, there's always going to be a set of values that drive all the decisions they make and light them up like a Christmas tree and get them excited and make them feel like whatever it is they're encountering in the world is just the obvious choice and the easy yes, and their logic go. They don't have to be logical. They don't have to analyze this thing because it feels right inside their hearts. It's powerful to start using values to think about people, and it gets us away from those stereotypes, which frankly don't work and are oftentimes responsible for a whole lot of the problems we have in the world today. Stereotypes that lead to racism and sexism and ageism and homophobia and classism and all those other things that we know we're all trying to fight against. So the one big takeaway, values are the answer. And if you put them to work, I promise you, you'll be happy with the results. Please reach out. Let me know how I can help you. I'm very excited about this relationship with all of you and with the DMO sector, and let's keep it rolling. Understanding human values for destination organizations right now is a kind of superpower. because what it does is it tells you what people care about. So whether we're talking about the communities you serve, the politicians and policymakers you're trying to engage and influence, the people you're trying to convince to come and have a visit and hang out for a while, spend their dollars, all of them can be motivated, engaged, and inspired if you simply know what matters to them. And then you frame up whatever it is you want to talk to them about in a way that aligns with what matters most to them. That's the secret, isn't it? Just figure that out. So that's what our data, our value graphic data, allows you to do, is to make things seem like an obvious choice and an easy yes and a complete no-brainer by making the things you're concerned about the things that they're also concerned about. So you can do that with data now instead of guesswork. And that's what the power of values brings to the equation. And right now, while you're facing all the uphill battles that you're facing, and you're looking at how you're going to stretch your budgets, and you're trying to deal with all the community small p politics and capital P politics, understanding what matters most to people, using that as a way to guide your decision-making process, your strategies, your messages, your marketing, just makes sense. Why wouldn't you want to use this stuff?